Buongiorno a tutti e bentornati nel mio canale. Io sono Irene, sono una insegnante di lingue italiana e oggi parleremo dei comparativi e i superlativi. Curiosi? Continuate a guardare. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the comparatives and superlatives. I always have my notes here, so in case you see me looking at that spot, that's why. Before I start, let me know that you appreciate these videos by leaving a like, commenting down below, saying anything, and subscribing if you are new. Here we do grammar, here we talk about difficult words and expressions, and I also have some chit-chats in Italian where you can practice your listening. That being said, it was way too long. Let's get into the good stuff. What are comparatives and superlatives? Well, in English, for example, a comparative would be I am taller than you. I am comparing myself to you or you to me. And a superlative would be I am the tallest. It's superlative, absolute. So in Italian, there are different types of comparatives. We call them comparativo di maggioranza and comparativo di minoranza. Maggioranza gives you an idea of something that is more, while minoranza gives you an idea of something that is less. So the first one would be, for example, I am more intelligent than my cat. And the comparativo di minoranza would be my cat is less intelligent than me. So more and less. Maggioranza and minoranza. So having established that, how do we make a comparison? How do we create a comparative? The Italian version of the comparative is very easy. It corresponds to the forms of more and less in English. We should already know how to say more and less, but just in case you don't know, more is più and less is meno. So we use più o meno, but let's go with più to make things easier, followed by the first comparison term, so the first adjective, for example, followed by di or che, two prepositions, that introduce the second term of comparison, which could be a name, a noun, an adjective, and so on and so forth. To give you a couple of examples. Io sono più alta di Giulia. I am literally more tall than Julia. Or I could say Chiara è più obbediente di Francesco. Chiara is more obedient than Francesco. I feel like I'm slipping into cliches. I'm sorry if that's the case. That's absolutely not my intention. I said that you can use di and you can use che to introduce the second term of comparison. And when do we use them? Like, is it absolutely randomized, or is there a rule? Actually, there is a rule. So we use di when the second term of comparison is a name. Sono più giovane di Luca. I am younger than Luca. Then we use di when the second term of comparison is a pronoun, or è più alto di me. Or also when the second term of comparison is an adverb. Oggi c'è più sole di ieri. But we use che when the second term of comparison is a name or a noun introduced by a preposition. Preferisco andare al cinema con una persona che con un gruppo grande. We also use che when we are comparing two adverbs. Lavori più velocemente che precisamente. You work more quickly than precisely. The comparativo di minoranza works the exact same way. The only thing that we need to do is substitute più alto, più giovane, and so on and so forth, with meno. Lui è meno alto di Alessandro. Io sono meno giovane di Giulia. There is also another type of comparative called comparativo di uguaglianza. And that is like saying, I am as tall as you. I am comparing two things that are equal. The comparativo di uguaglianza is formed like this. We can introduce it with tanto, but it's not always used. Sometimes it could sound a little bit heavy. So let's say tanto, followed by the first term of comparison, maybe, and then quanto, that introduces the second term of comparison. So I could say, sono tanto alta quanto Chiara. I am as tall as Chiara. But I could also say, sono alta quanto Chiara, meaning the exact same thing, having more or less the exact same effect, but it's just a little bit easier and quicker to say. Another way to make the comparative of uguaglianza is using, instead of tanto quanto, così come. Honestly, this exists, but it's not quite as commonly used, at least in my area. If you are another Italian watching this video for any reason, comment down below if you use this more than I do, because I basically never use it. It is true though that using just come is a more common option. So for example, I could say sono alta come Carolina. I am as tall as Carolina. Then let's talk about the superlative. There are two types of superlatives: the relative superlative and the absolute. So superlativo relativo is like, for example, you are the tallest of the family. We are talking about a specific group. That one is formed as the article agreeing with the subject, followed by più or meno, because the superlative can be positive or negative too, plus the adjective referred to the subject and so agreeing with the subject, followed by the preposition di plus the group. For example, tu sei il più alto della tua famiglia. You are the tallest of your family. Or Marta è la più brava della classe. Marta is the best of the class. The superlativo assoluto is formed in different ways. You could use molto, so much in front, the adjective or the adverb. You could repeat the same thing twice, so to say, mio fratello è alto alto. My brother is tall. But the best way, and maybe the most Italian thing you will hear me talk about in this channel, is the suffix issimo, as in bello becoming bellissimo. What happens? Usually the very last vowel of the adjective falls and we just add issimo or issima, of course agreeing it to the subject. So for example, questo cavallo è bellissimo. This horse is so beautiful. Or vado a nuotare spessissimo. So as you can see, issimo cannot only be used on adjectives, also on adverbs, as spesso is often. Or questo film è lunghissimo. This movie is super long. You can basically use issimo with most adjectives and some of the adverbs. And it's a very, very, very Italian construction that I suggest you learn how to use and you integrate in your everyday practice. There are some comparatives and superlatives that are a little bit weird, such as the superlatives of buono and cattivo, where they can have the comparatives of più buono or più cattivo, and the superlatives of il più buono, buonissimo, or il più cattivo, cattivissimo. But they can also have migliore, better, and ottimo as best. And cattivo has peggiore, worse, and pessimo, worst. Or for grande and piccolo, big and small. Grande can be il più grande or grandissimo, but it can also be maggiore or massimo. Piccolo può essere più piccolo o il più piccolo o piccolissimo, but it can also be minore and minimo. So as you can see, in general, Italian comparatives and superlatives are quite easy. There are a few exceptions that are a little bit strange. But please, please, please do remember about that issimo thing because, oh, we love it so much. And we use it so much. It's not just, oh, bellissimo, you know, that everybody knows about. It's a little bit of a stereotype, but you can use it anywhere. Every time I say it to a student, they're like, surprised. And I'm like, you shouldn't be surprised. It's such a big part of our language. Anyway, this is everything that I wanted to tell you today. I know it could have been a lot. Your homework for today will be to write down in the comments a few sentences using both the comparatives and the superlatives. And yeah, this is gonna be it. Grazie per aver guardato questo video, metti mi piace, commenta, fai i compiti, iscriviti se sei nuovo e ti piace questo video per sostenere il mio canale e niente, buona continuazione, buona giornata e noi ci vediamo nel prossimo video, ok? Ciao ragazzi!